it's kind of weird getting back, it was in my city. I took public transit there. But after the event, as I'm winding down, hearing all of this about A Million Lives Book Festival, which was happening at the same time, and clearly did not go as well. And I feel really sorry for, of course, everyone in that situation. But also really lucky of the situation I found myself in at Love and Romance. And it's a bit of a weird feeling, but I still want to talk about it. So first things first, this was a first event for this event. And it was one that I have been like, it's been like my whole personality for the past year. Like I went to Ignite in August and obviously was super excited for that, but I knew I was going to Love and Romance when I got my tickets for Ignite. So it was always in my mind, and my perception going into both Ignite and Love and Romance was like Love and Romance was bigger, and that's not untrue. One thing that I noticed, and I kind of had this feeling leading up to it as well, just in like the Facebook groups, and like the way some of the marketing was going. Ignites, first of all, is a more established event. It used to happen in London, then they took a couple breaks off for COVID, and then it was in Toronto. But it seemed like Ignite was more people established in the community. You know, I was one of the youngest people there. It was a lot of 30 to 60-year-old women who like, they know their romance kind of thing, which is amazing. But Love and Romance, while there were still plenty of people who'd been in the community for a long time, I think there was a lot more of like the book talk crowd, a lot more younger people. And I think partially it was just how it was marketed. Also being called Love and Romance, it kind of feels more like it's an answer to the big American signings that we hear about. And also I think it was reflected in the authors that were attending. Now, like obviously there was a bunch of, I don't want this to come off at all of like me bashing Ignite, because it's not that at all. It's just, tonally felt a little bit different, and there are definitely things Ignite does a lot better. But like there were a lot more queer authors at Love and Romance, and like queer authors with larger followings like Rachel Reed and Scarlett Drake. Whereas at Love and Romance, at Ignite, I think there were a couple of exclusively queer authors, but more so authors who wrote both. But yeah, so it was a really amazing event. Some negatives. The VIP bag was not it. Like, I have the bag here. This is the bag itself, which, you know, is kind of nice, but it's just very like cheaply made. You know, not the end of the world, but there was also like not much in it. Like it was like, there was like a branded highlighter and like a branded annotation kit and stuff like that. And a couple of art prints. Like when I went to Ignite, there were a couple books in there, right? I still think like the price for VIP, even if just that extra hour, I think was worth it. I made use of all the time. And which is kind of different from, because when I went to Ignite, it was my first big signing. And I kind of went in and I was like, oh, I have so much time. And then at the end, I was kind of running around. Now, I still knew, like, I wasn't in a rush when I first got in there. But I was glad to be able to get in there and get a fair bit done in that first hour, especially because Melanie Moreland had Finn, which is part of her new, like, her Irish Mafia series. and that doesn't release for a couple of weeks. So she was like, she posted in the Facebook group saying she'll have limited copies, first come, first serve, cash in hand. So I was like, okay, I need to like, I'm hitting up Melanie first, and I'll insert like a little clip of the book because I got it and I was very excited. So like I waited a solid 10 minutes in her line. For the most part, the lines weren't as bad as, or as, I don't want to say bad, but like as much of a thing as I feel like we hear about for a lot of the big American signings. I did wait a fair while in Rachel Reed's line. And that's kind of with what I was saying. Like there were a lot of queer authors, but there were also like, people were really, a lot of people I think were going primarily for queer authors, which is not something I experienced at Ignite. But which is super cool. So I did wait in Rachel Reed's line for a long time. I brought books to sign also because she's trad published. I don't think she was selling books. But part of the reason why I waited in that line was also because I needed to get my cart organized. And I was like, well, I can do that while waiting in line, so I don't mind waiting in line. And then of course, struck up a conversation with the people around me. But yeah, oh, what I was gonna say, the VIP, so Ghibli, which was a sponsor of the event, and they make like here, I'll take it off. They're like bookish gibbets, you know, that we would put on our Crocs, but like, so the lanyard, which everyone got, this wasn't exclusive to VIP. The lanyard has these, I don't know if you can see, these little holes in them, and it's for you to put in your charms. Now, I'll be honest, the charms are kind of difficult to put on, but this one was in the VIP bag. Also, general admission did get a bag. And I think that's what I meant. Like, they got, general admission also got the art prints and the Love and Romance Ghibli. And then, like, I think the only difference really with the VIP was we got the like the event specific highlighter kit. Here, this was pretty much it that was in the VIP bag. So we got as well as a couple art prints, including a not safe for work one, which, don't get me wrong, I love not safe for work prints, but it was just in there. And I think we talked when I forget what book came out, but the PR had a spicy toy in it. And I think that the community was talking about like, ooh, consentiness, like if people don't consent to receive that and all that. I kind of felt the same way with the not safe for work art print. Like I was talking to someone in the Rachel Reed line, and they were saying like I'll read spice in books, but I'm ace. Like that was a jump scare for me. Totally fair. I think that should have been in an envelope that said not safe for work. So then you could decide whether or not you want to see that. It's just one of those little consent things. So first things first. So Ghibli was the sponsor. So we had a business card, and with the QR code to the site, as well as this little stamp thing about authors that had charms, Ghibli charms that you could get. And the Ghibli charms were like free swag, like stickers and things like that. So I got Victoria Deneau, who I love, and then it's upside down. I got hers. I got from Ruby Bloom. Kind of hard to see a bit. I've got Freya Barker, who I also love. I didn't buy anything from her this year because I bought a lot last year. And Burn It Down, which is Jillian D. Ray's newest book, which I haven't read yet, but her Beautiful Deceit series, oh my God. And actually I was talking to her, and she describes Noah Kincaid is the lead singer of this band, and his voice is like described so much, and I was like, give me someone that I can listen to that you feel like fits that vibe. And she's like, I'm a big Bad Omens fan. Noah Sebastian, it kind of inspired that. And I was like, cool. So I'm a little bit obsessed now. So yeah, those were the ones I got. I didn't get all of them Like here it says, so Emily Rose, Freya Barker, Ruby Bloom, S.L. Sterling, Victoria Deneau, and Vinnie George had them. I didn't get one from Vinnie George, Emily Rose, or S.L. Sterling. Pretty kind of upset, or not upset, but like disappointed about Emily Rose. And I think partially that's because I like picked up my pre-order in the last hour and a half. So she might have been out of them. Slash, I was talking to this one girl and she was saying some people might have forgotten to put them out or whatnot. Anyway, I originally going into it, I was like, Ghibli, I'm like, their charms, like, what do I need that for? But I'm actually obsessed. And I was stalking their website and I'm like, I have so many favorite authors that aren't, that they don't carry. So I'm going to try making my own, you know, as you do. Anyway, yes, I'm getting so off topic, but I am in fact a yapper. So this I think was exclusive to the VIP bag. It is just a little like annotation thing. I haven't even opened it, but like it's branded. It says Love and Romance on it. And let's see, it is, so it opens like that. It's just like a kind of paper thing. And it's got a little pen and paper. Oh, wait. So these would have, they're not sticky, but they would have made like good book plates to like get authors to sign. Because they're perforated here. And then the pen. So I'll get that later. But yeah, and then there was the sticker, which I love. I'm going to put that on my cart, but I'm going to scan it first so I can also put it on my water bottle. You know, and then there was this highlighter wheel situation. Excuse me. So yeah, that's what was in the VIP bags. Pretty disappointing, but not the end of the world. And that's one of those things that I'm sure next year it will be better. Oh yeah, and then this is my lanyard. I don't think I mentioned that. I might as well put that on now. So, you know, we wrote our name. Also, the VIPs at Ignite, like the badges were already fully printed. It's not important, but it was just, you know, Ignite's also been around for a longer time. That's just one of those things that I noticed. And then of course I got the badges from, I got one from, actually two from Melanie Moreland. That's from my favorite boss. I got one from Vinnie George and one from J.A. Carter. J.A. Carter also had some under her Jessie Elliott pen name. The one thing is, I like these badge ribbons. I don't know. You know, we see them used in like a Polycon and all of that. I wish that our badges, you know, fit so they could go down like that. Minor thing, but something I noticed. Oh, and lastly, in the swag bag, this is it's a poker chip that says just keep reading. Oh, says one more chapter and just keep reading, and it was from Gay Romance Reviews. Oh, and it's clever because it's like flipping a coin. Anyway, so that was the BIP bags and a bunch of stuff about the event. Also, something I thought was hilarious. I would go to these authors' booths and they'd be like, oh my God, you're so organized. I'm like, I'm really not. I was just really excited for this event. And what's a neurodivergent girly to do when she's so excited for something and has to keep waiting for it? Well, she's going to obsessively plan everything because it's something to do with that energy. And then when she gets there, it's going to be a mess. But like I had my, I don't know if you shouldn't see the QR codes, but I had the QR codes and my pre-orders. I didn't get, well, I got a fair few pre-orders. I didn't get a ton of pre-orders. And I also only bought one book there. I bought Finn from Melanie Moreland. The rest were pre-orders. I will say Syncopating Hearts by Shanjita Nusrath Ali. She didn't have a true pre-order. She had a comment under this and I'll save you. And that works as a pre-order and then paid cash at the event. So I brought $50 cash there. I only spent 40. I spent 20 on Finn and 20 on Syncopating Hearts. I am not in a super financially comfortable position. Luckily, so I bought the ticket for this event a year ago. So that was paid for. Most of my pre-orders, I was gonna say Victoria Deneau and Jillian Ray were both like Google Forms pre-orders that I paid, but their pre-orders closed like a while ago, like about a month ago, or maybe not exactly. Maybe I just have no concept of time, but like, you know, I paid before. And the thing with the others were on Beventi, and I'm realizing I like Beventi more. Couple reasons. One, after the pre-order is closed, I can still see the prices. When Google Forms close, I cannot. So like if I decide to buy books at the event, I can still plan better. But also Beventi, you pay when you make the order. Whereas Google Forms, the authors are sending you the invoices when they close their pre-orders, which is fine. I just found personally for me in terms of planning, it worked out a lot better for me that way, because I could decide like, pre-orders are difficult because I'm making the decision in my financial situation just then, not for a month from now or later. Yeah. But yeah, so I did do that. I had also, over the past year, been kind of collecting books, whether they were on sale on Amazon or if they're trad published, getting them from Indigo. Like Hannah Bonham Young was there, and most of the books I got when I did the birthday book challenge that my mom regretted after I did it. But you know, so those were books I've had on my shelf to get signed. Also, like Rachel Reed, got it Indigo, trad published, and you know, to kind of use the savings. Demi Winters, I think I got Road of Bones on Amazon, Kingdom of Claw, Indigo. I forget. I went based on which was cheaper, and I do have Plum Plus because it just worked out that it was, you know, better for me. My Favorite Boss I got on Amazon. So, right. I had my plan with all the books I had to get signed. And I had kind of prioritized the beginning doing this because I was like, my pre-orders are still gonna be there. I don't know. Maybe not the smartest way to do that. I definitely got some emails like, pick up your pre-orders. I'm like, oh, I know. I'm making my way. Also, one thing that I did, which I highly recommend anyone do, and I had kind of done this for Ignite, but I left it on my phone. Like I had on the Notes app questions I wanted to ask authors. And I wasn't necessarily pulling out my phone because I also felt kind of awkward and anxious. Whereas I knew if I was pulling out my clipboard with all my other papers on it, it was easier to remember about the questions. Because, you know, you get questions for different authors. Like I had questions or things I wanted to say. Like Piper Rain, I wanted to ask because the Rooftop Crew takes place in Clifton Heights. So I was like, oh, is Clifton Heights, I was like, is it a real place? I Googled it and it exists in New York, but New York State. And like in the book, on Sundays, she travels from Manhattan back to Clifton Heights. So I Googled it. Clifton Heights, New York is 8 hours from New York City. So I was like, how much of a commute is that? And they were like, oh, it's like 45 minutes. That is a fake town. And I was like, cool, love that. And also just like, I wanted to tell them that my life goal now is to be Grandma Dory. If you haven't read the Baileys series by Piper Rain, do it. It is so good. I always describe it as if Bridgerton took place in modern small town Alaska. Amazing. Also Jen Burke. So she has a bunch of books, but the series that I loved was the Not Dead Yet series, which is urban fantasy slash paranormal queer romance, second chance age gap. Like, the young guy is immortal, but it's like 30 years in the future. So his ex is the silver fox, even though he's technically, the young guy is technically older, because he's like 100 or whatever. It's fun. And also, like, cop detective takes place in Toronto. Love the series. And it is on audiobook, but there's no paperbacks. And I was like, I went up to her and I was like, I have nothing for you to sign because there's no paper. Well, I said I have no books. I did get a lot of book plates to sign. And also, because she's one of my favorite, I have a tote bag that I got all my absolute favorite authors to sign that I'll then take to future conventions. I'll show you that after. And I also, because Wes, the main character, talks about how disgusting maple syrup is and how Canadians are weird for liking it, even though he is in fact a Canadian. And I was like, Jen, is that like a personal beef for you? Because that it felt a little bit personal. And it's funny because she was explaining how she, like Wes, grew up in Edmonton, where they just had like the fake syrup, like the Aunt Jemima's. So she was like in her 20s the first time she had real maple syrup, and she was like, oh, I thought that was funny. So like I wrote that down. And then I asked Demi Winters if you've read Kingdom of Claw, if a certain character is dead. And then I was like, you can't answer that, can you? And she was like, no. And I was like, it's implied that he is, but fantasy, you know. And also told her about my reaction to a chapter in Kingdom of Claw that I was listening to on public transit, and everyone was staring at me like I was crazy. So I kept going like, and then I had to get off the bus to get groceries, and you probably know what I'm talking about. Like, the chapter kind of ended on a cliffhanger and it didn't get resolved right away, even though we knew it would get resolved. But I feel like in fantasy, sometimes you get scarred and things. I'm used to happy endings, and some people like to fuck with that. All I'm saying. Scarlet Drake. I read her Fall With Me series, which was like her first book that she published, and it was originally on Wattpad. And she was like, oh my God, no one talks about that series. And I'm like, I loved it. It was great. And also, thank you for actually acknowledging that a woman cannot taste like strawberries down there. Because like the main characters always like say, oh, she tasted like strawberries. And I'm like, okay, but not actually. We can use that in like a lyrical, prosy way. But that wasn't actually what fucking happened. And I appreciated that she actually acknowledged that she didn't actually taste like strawberries. Also, Jillian Ray. I was like, who is closest to Noah's voice? And she said, Noah Sebastian from Bad Omens. So it looked him up. And also, this is also just to say why you should read Jillian Ray's books. I thought I was immune to certain feelings that one gets from certain moments in books. Like, don't get me wrong. I might have reactions and feelings and potentially bodily reactions to things that happen, but the fact that it was like so like instantly, oh my God, I thought I was immune to that feeling at this point. And I was reading the first book in the Beautiful Deceit series at my workplace after work. As a server, I was eating dinner on my Kindle, and I was like, I am at my place of employment. Customers can see me. I should not be reading this, but I could not stop. So I didn't. And then Madden Rose, I had to mention that I was like, it's so funny because it's takes place outside of Toronto, but he's like Jake is an American hockey player, like from Florida or whatever. And there's a scene where, because she's a single mom, where the kid is like, you know, Halloween, all of us Canadians know, like, you fight with your parents about wearing your winter coat either under or over your costume. Lilith, what are you doing? Sometimes cats just like to bite you. Hi. And I just had to appreciate that Jake was confused and surprised by that. Like, he thought she was joking about the winter coat with the Halloween costume. And I never considered that that wasn't a universal experience. Because, like, oh my God, every year that was an argument, right? Like, oh, you gotta wear your coat. I'm like, it'll ruin the costume, Mom. It will ruin the costume. I mean, every other Canadian has that experience, right? As well as probably most people, unless you're somewhere really warm, like, the end of October is cold. Lilith! No! Did you just thought she tried to hit me back? I didn't even hit her. I just pointed at her. Okay, I'm gonna pause. I'm just gonna do two things at once, because if I take a break, I will actually probably never come back to this. Gotta love that, right? I also printed out the seating plan, which, you know, I saw everyone do, is a smart thing to do. I didn't color code it because I tried to do that like digitally for Ignite, and the thing was, I probably made it too complicated or had too many things. I was like, pre-orders, favorites, like brought books to sign, want to buy books there. So it just, and like, you can only like, if you keep putting a highlighter over the same thing, it just turns brown, you know, that kind of vibe. But I do wish that I color coded this a little bit. What I did do was I had my signing list where I wrote all of the authors and the numbers that their tables were at, which was mostly helpful. It's what I used in kind of conjunction with the map, more so than trying to find people on the map that way. The one thing is, I did not make full use out of this. My intention with this was to tick people off when I met them. Not a bad idea. However, I was just running around and like, and that's the thing with, like, you can plan all the things. It's, you know, people are talking about type C personalities. I plan all the things, but am I gonna actually use the plans is a whole other question. So I didn't really do that. Like, you see all the check marks here? That's because when I got home, I kind of went based on memory. And the reason why I wanted to make sure I saw everyone, and I pretty much got book plates for everyone. I wanted to get book plates for everyone and get pictures with everyone. I didn't get nearly as many pictures as I thought, or as I wanted. And partially that's because at the end I was kind of just like running around and like, not super frantically, but I was like, oh, people are starting to head out. I need everyone to sign my pillow that I made. So I made this with my Cricut and heat transfer vinyl, but honestly, I was reading it at like 9:30, 10 o'clock at night on the Friday night. And I kind of regret, I was like, oh, I wish I just like drew it on. Maybe I would, but I am actually super happy how this turned out. And all the authors got a real kick out of it. It was super fun. But yeah, so I got each of the authors to sign one of the little books. It's funny because where is it? Yeah, C.A. King actually signed the little candle, which was funny. But yeah, and I also made sure that there were enough books so that authors with multiple pen names could sign with each of their pen names. But yeah, so this is just like an amazing keepsake. If you saw my Ignite videos, you'll probably remember I got this shirt signed. I thrifted a men's shirt used my Cricut to put Ignite Your Soul 2024 on it and got all the authors to sign. Anyway, so yes, I can't even remember fully where I left off, but yeah, the signing list, I ticked it off after the fact. I think this would have been good if I was doing it as I was going, to make sure that I didn't miss anyone when I was getting this pillow signed. But yeah, I'm really happy with it. And obviously I just brought the pillowcase, got people to sign it, and then I added the pillow. But yeah, super happy with it. Proud I did that. And I got to meet so many amazing authors. Some that I'd read, some that I hadn't. I think I was most excited to meet Piper Rain, or Piper and Rain. I am just such a huge fan of the Bailey series, as well as like a bunch of other series. So I actually did my nails, because I think I made a video a while ago of like using water, or not of it, but showing that I did it, because I made Ice Planet Barbarian nails a while back. I bought printable water slide decal paper, which you can like print out, like spray it with like spray acrylic or whatever, and then you can use those on your nails. So I did, I mean, this one's a little bit wonky, but Piper Rain has their most recent hockey series is The Nest. So I like just found stickers. Can you see? Anyway, found stickers and then printed them that way so I could do my nails. And they thought it was the coolest thing in the world, which like, I thought it was super cool that they thought it was cool, you know? Anyway, I totally like lost my rhythm with recording. But yeah, I had a super fun time. One thing though that I think was, worked better the way Ignite did it was, at Ignite, the VIP tickets included the dinner, you know, so obviously the VIP were a lot more. Whereas here, the dinner was a separate thing, like a separate ticket, separate cost. I mean, it also costs more. But because of that, there were so many fewer people doing the dinner, which, you know, is fine. It just, like, obviously everyone being there for the dinner probably wouldn't have worked, but it's not that there were so few people, but it felt like there were very few people at the dinner, both readers and authors. Like, I think it would have been more fun if there were just like more people. Like, pretty much everyone I talked to at the event were not then going to the dinner. Because obviously if you weren't staying at the hotel, for a lot of people, that just wouldn't make sense. And that's all valid. I don't know. Also, they had a DJ, which it's funny because the other event, the A Million Lives, didn't have a DJ, and that was a problem. And this is maybe a nitpicking thing, and maybe I just don't get DJs. And maybe I'm not the target market. Maybe the bookish community isn't necessarily the target demo. Like, Shania Twain does not need a remix, you know? Or like most songs, I feel like we know these songs and we want to jam out to these songs. It's not like we're in a club just like dancing. Like, no, we're like reader nerds who want to jam out to songs we know. And when we think we know the songs, but then like some weird remix happens, I'm like, it takes me out. I don't know if everyone else has the same opinion of that, but I felt like I was on the dance floor like, okay, what is happening? What is happening? But it was still a really fun night. One thing that I would recommend to everyone, especially if you have any kind of, oh, we cut out there. But yeah, what I would recommend to everyone, especially if you have any kind of joint issues or anything, I mean, I'm pretty much out of this. I need to get more. Tape your knees. I am so glad I did it. And I mostly did it because my legs were in a lot of pain. I was working and it was just like a busier week. And I probably have some kind of chronic pain issues or something that is not diagnosed, because apparently other people can handle being on their feet for longer. Whereas I'm pretty sure I got shin splints from working as a server. So, you know, so that's the main reason why I tape my knees. I tape both my knees, I tape my one shin, and I tape both my ankles. Now, my knees were still bugging me when I was partying on the dance floor, but I am so glad that I did it. It was just so much more support. I had also got insoles for I took my work shoes because they're my most supportive shoes. I took them from work, and then I also got insoles. I got the, let me actually, I have the package. It's the Dr. Scholl's Prevent Pain. They were like 25 bucks, which kind of felt like a lot. But they did really help. So, you know, help yourself the most that you can to not be in pain. Also bring things like Advil, or Midol. I was not on my period, over the event, but I brought Midol just because it's stronger. Because I didn't want to be in pain and be in a bad mood. One thing that I almost did, but then decided at the last minute, if I brought it, I would hate bringing it home. I have this board game. It's called Romance versus the World. Oh, I'll be right back. I almost forgot. I did want to add that I made with my Cricut this bag. It's like those author signing in the style of like a library checkout slip. And this is what I got all of my favorite authors to sign. So like I got Melanie Moreland, Victoria Deneau, Demi Winters, Piper Rain, Gillian D. Ray, Hannah Bonham Young, Jen Burke, and I can't read the other one, I'm blanking. Yeah, it's called Romance versus the World. It's a Cards Against Humanity style romance game. And I almost brought it because I was thinking, oh, the time between the end of the signing and the dinner, it would be cool to play this with a bunch of people. But I thought, actually, I'm not going to do it because it's kind of heavy and I would regret having to lug it home. I'm also glad I didn't bring it because like I posted in the Facebook group, I was like, hey, if anyone's sticking around for the dinner and bored, I'm hanging out outside the room if anyone wants to come hang out. No one like responded to that, but there is one girl who was also kind of hanging out and I was like, hey, you want to come hang out with me? And we chatted and like went through our stuff and it was super fun. But I think next time I might bring, maybe not this, but some kind of thing to do in between. It would have been a lot of fun if I had kind of pulled other people, and maybe next time I will do that because that was a lot of fun. Also, I just was talking to people and some of us, like, the party wasn't necessarily the vibe, and it would have been cool if we had like you know, board games or something to do. So that would have been fun. But yeah, I'll probably make another video of like convention advice. I don't know. I feel like I've done two now that I feel pretty confident in stuff, and I've done enough research for it. And also there aren't just like a ton of videos about this kind of stuff. Like there are some, but a lot of them are like specific to like a Polycon or like Book Bonanza or things like that, which, you know, is great because those are huge things that need a lot of that stuff. But like there were no panels for Love and Romance. So the scheduling and planning, and it was like one signing. It looks different, I think, for us. And if I can make myself make the content, I think it would be useful. But yeah, overall, I had a really amazing time. And I can't wait for it to happen again next year because I'm definitely going. Also, the commute to the Delta, which is the hotel that it was held at, was not nearly as difficult as I thought it would be. Like, I live in the West End of Toronto, but like I took 2 buses. I got there in less than an hour, which feels kind of amazing. Oh, also, last advice, like I wore a tiara there. You got to wear comfy clothes and comfy shoes because you're going to be like on your feet. There's no reason why you can't wear like a tiara and glitter. So yeah, wear the, and also all the authors were like, I love your tiara. And I had one girl who actually said she wished she brought the tiara, but she didn't. So next time she would know. But anyway, I'll say goodbye now, and I'll probably make more videos about this. But yeah, all right, bye.